Before I was a deputy minister, before I was an ambassador, I was an historian. And I will tell you that 50 years is like a minute in the history of Jerusalem. And yet, 50 years ago can feel like centuries ago. June 1967, to imagine that there was a wall through the center of this city, that Jordanian snipers would pick off Israeli citizens on the western side. The Jews were denied the right to visit the Kotel, to go to Har HaZeitim. Inconceivable today. Inconceivable today. As an historian, I looked at the files as they became declassified. And I remarked at how deeply the Israeli government tried to avoid war in June 1967, to avoid war with the Jordanians. And even when the Jordanians shot at us, the Israeli government did everything to prevent that war from spreading to Jerusalem, did everything even to avoid trying to go into the old city and liberating the Kotel in order to achieve peace. And it's only because our enemies waged war against us every single day that we were able to achieve the great zchut, the great blessing of reuniting with our holiest sites. Years later, no longer an historian, but a diplomat, I had to deal with America's foreign policy toward the city of Jerusalem. And I'd be called into the State Department and told about building some balcony in Gilo, which was somehow a settlement. And I'd have to say to the American policymakers that your policy is both prejudicial and inapplicable. Do you know that if you are a Jew in this city, you can only build legally in certain neighborhoods? If that was a policy in any American city, it would be called anti-Semitic and racist. But if you're an Arab in this city, you can build everywhere, including illegally, and the state of Israel can't take down your illegal structure. That's America's foreign policy here. The time has come to correct it. After 50 years, which again is a minute in the life of Jerusalem, but it's too long, insufferably long, for a policy which is inapplicable and prejudicial. I want to make a headline right here. In front of this august body, I'm going to make a headline. The state of Israel unequivocally, unreservedly recognizes Washington, D.C. as America's capital. We're not going with New York. We're not going with Philadelphia. Washington, D.C., about which is the subject of so many songs and so many prayers. All right? Do I sound a little cynical? It's time to correct it, folks. 50 years, it's time to correct it. Thank you all. Yom Yerushalayim Sameach.